Today on the Stay at Home Chef, I'm showing you how to make blackberry basil ricotta pizza. I first published this recipe in 2014 and it has been absolutely viral ever since. You guys love this pizza just as much as I do, and restaurants have even put it on their menus, so it must be good. To start, you'll need some pizza dough. You can use a store-bought crust, I'm not gonna judge you, or you can use one of our 3 recipes on the website, including our Italian style pizza dough, our regular easy pizza dough, and this one, our refrigerator pizza dough. So what I'm gonna do is just grab some of this dough, and I'll probably get Caitlin in here to help me. Caitlin, come on in. Let's see, we're gonna make a 16-inch pizza. So, get a nice little floured surface here. And listen, people always judge a little not to roll out the dough for pizza, but slinging a pizza dough and tossing it in the air is not what most home cooks do. So
correct.
We're gonna use a rolling pin and just roll it out.
Rachel is a great coach on how to roll this out the right way. So to do this the very best way, I'm gonna give a little flour to the top and then start in the center, work our way out.
Yep, and
Okay.
I love the French rolling pin because you can so easily control the weight on it, where those, you know, ones with the knobs and it all rolls like your grandma had.
Yeah, don't you feel like those, they end up with dough in the little edges?
Yeah, and they're hard to clean too.
They're super hard to clean.
So I use a French rolling pin always.
Give me some more guidance here.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you just want like an even surface, so you make sure you alternate the pressure so that we get all of it out, and just keep
on rolling.
It always springs back a little bit, so you kind of have to roll it out a little bit wider than you plan on. I mean, dough is really flexible and springy, so you don't have to worry about getting that perfect circle because you're just gonna stretch it out on the pan anyway.
Ta-da! Ta-da!
Ta-da! And it doesn't matter if the crust edges aren't perfect and
That's not what we're going for.
Listen, it's the imperfections that are fine. All right, now it's time to top this bad boy.
You don't even need me. You got this.
Oh, okay, she's gonna go into the audience here. All right, I'm gonna drizzle on some olive oil here. We wanna just make sure that our crust isn't dry. So you wanna spread that out to the edges and get it all somewhat evenly coated here. You just wanna make sure, the whole point is that you have kind of a base wetness because we're not doing a big sauce on this. This recipe calls for a pint of blackberries. What you wanna do is take about half of them and you wanna just mash those up. And you can use a fork or even a potato masher. What we want are the juices and stuff, and this is gonna be what constitutes our sauce, so that we get a layer of blackberries on the bottom of the pizza with that olive oil. It doesn't have to be perfect, there can even be chunks. We're just gonna get this onto our pizza and spread it out somewhat evenly. Next, we're gonna add on our cheeses, and that's right, we have 2 different kinds of cheese. You wanna start with some shredded mozzarella cheese, and if you use freshly shredded, it does melt quite a bit better than like the pre-shredded bags, although those bags are convenient. I use them for pizzas all the time, especially if I'm making a lot of pizzas at once. But freshly shredded does shred better. Then I'm adding on some shredded Parmesan. We want that extra bite of the sharpness of the Parmesan, which will combine with the mozzarella. So we'll get a nice even, somewhat even layer of those cheeses on the pizza. And then we're gonna add on some whole blackberries. Now, if they're large, you can also have them, or you can do a mix. And these get all juicy and pop in the oven, and I love that. I'm gonna actually, some of these are quite large. So I'll have those larger ones. Because you know, sometimes you get small berries, sometimes you get large berries. It really just depends on almost the season of the year. I guess life is like a blackberry basil ricotta pizza. You never know what you're gonna get. Doesn't really matter, don't overthink it too much, just get those blackberries on there. Then we're gonna take spoonfuls of ricotta cheese and dot the top, and honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of the pizza because I just love getting a little bite of ricotta cheese on a pizza. It's so creamy and delicious and has that contrast with the pizza crust that I just love. So we're just gonna place little spoonful dots around the pizza, and then once again, don't overthink it too much. Just scatter them about and get those on there so you get little bites dispersed throughout each slice. And we'll get one last one right there and we'll call it good. It really doesn't matter. Once again, just don't overthink it. Next, we'll call Caitlin back here and we will get this into the oven. We add our basil on last because of course basil would burn.
We're gonna bake this beautiful pizza at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes.
If you've got a pizza stone, those are great to use, but it can be a little tricky to learn how to use a little paddle to slide off the crust. So if you're just using a pan, I highly recommend buying one of these perforated pans, which are not very expensive, and they have these holes in the bottom that allow for airflow so you can get that crispy crust. Let me show you how to chiffonade basil, which is really just a fancy term for cutting it up. What you want to do is take some basil leaves, stack them up, and it doesn't even have to be perfect, and then you're going to roll them up tightly into a little cigar, and then take a sharp knife and begin to slice. This is what gets you those pretty little ribbons of basil rather than the haphazard chopping. It's a super easy way to do it as well. I find it's a lot easier than chopping it up. All right, Caitlin is back with that pizza, and look, this is exactly what you're looking for. See all of these spots of browning? Oh my gosh, that is perfection. So we're gonna take the basil now and we're gonna just scatter it on, sprinkle that on top. You get that nice green contrast against those purple red blackberries, and this is just the prettiest pizza. It feels a little bit fancy, a little bit hipster even, but trust me, this is a delicious pizza that people are going to rave about. Give it just a couple minutes to kind of settle in there before you slice in, and then you, my friend, are ready to eat. Thanks for watching. You can find the full written recipe in the video description. Be sure to check out the rest of our videos too, where you can find hundreds of restaurant quality recipes you can easily make at home. We'll see you later.